all resilient, and we went through the tough times when we were living here. Like our infrastructure was very poor. That doesn't stop us from living. It's a small community, but we're very strong.
The Neskantaga First Nation is definitely a very welcoming community. They're joyful. The kids seem to love it here. It's a real pleasure to work in this place. I've worked in quite a few communities, and this one I do hold near and dear to my heart. So we're about 500 kilometers northeast of Thunder Bay. Depending on the season, so in the summertime there's only one way in and one way out, and that's by airplane. And in the wintertime you can still get here by air, or you can take the winter roads. For example, when we had to transport all our heavy machinery in our camp to Neskantaga, we had to leverage the ice roads. And in order to transport heavy equipment, you've got a short window of opportunity to do so. Typically in March, I would say the ice roads are thick enough for about 6 weeks. For us, we've got a project this summer. If we wouldn't have mobilized our camp or equipment last winter, well, tough luck, it's got to wait until the next winter. Yeah, so you got to act quick.
I work with Englobe to get some, to build that work relationship with the community. It's a good company to work with. The community is pretty happy with the remediation.
The First Nation needed Englobe's help in addressing the legacy of environmental impacts that were left over near the old community, which is where we're having this interview now. There used to be an old motel, a teacher's building, or a domicile for teachers, and throughout the years there must have been spills of some sort. And so what you find yourself with is diesel, gasoline, oil that seep through the ground, contaminating the soil and contaminating the groundwater. And they wanted us to help them fix that problem. It's important to remediate the soil and the groundwater, especially where the impact sites were located. They're in close proximity to the lake, and water is life. And if you don't address these problems, eventually the impacts, they do propagate and eventually potentially make their way into the waterways and further contaminate the not only groundwater, but now you're talking about lake water, and at that point you've lost control of the environmental impacts. Our first real contact was during our town hall meeting. The people were really engaged, they were intrigued, they wanted to know what we were doing. Very concerned with the environment, making sure that we would address all environmental concerns in town, as well as safety, like public safety. They wanted to make sure that we weren't driving too fast, that we would watch out for children, and basically be good temporary stewards of the land. The project started in June 2023. At the start of June, we started with our camp setup, and so we had a small crew make their way to Neskantaga, build up the camp, and then we had a few more waves of people come in. We excavated the sites, transported the soils to a treatment facility nearby, and the project lasted until mid-August. We were supposed to finish, I think, around August 25th. And so we ended up finishing the project a week early. So now that we've decontaminated the sites, from what I hear through the grapevine is that the First Nation would like to start farming on that land.
It's a nice place to have a potato garden. You know, it's or some veggies, you know, vegetables. You see the nice platform with the nice soil in it. So I'm sure a new era will start for the community to have own potato farm.
One of the technical challenges we did face on the Neskantaga remediation project would be the large amount of bears. The bears are really curious here. They are somewhat docile because they are well fed, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't exercise caution. If we see bears, if one of my guys sees bears, we announce it on the radio. Everyone needs to be aware. We have bear spray. In fact, we've gotten pretty good at deterring them from our camp. We don't let them get too comfortable, that's for sure. So it's important to be loud and to make it known that they should go elsewhere to find their food. So Neskantaga is a very small community. The population fluctuates quite a bit, depending on the time of year and whatnot. But they do have children, and those children need an education. And a lot of the teachers come from down south, I think mostly Thunder Bay, and they need a place to reside while they're teaching. And so the teacher is going to be an 8-plex, so they'll be able to bring in 8 more teachers from down south to provide an education to the kids in Neskantaga.
Well, I think it's going to be inspire the new teachers that come here, because the service they're going to get, it's going to be good. Like, it's going to be a new facility, and thank to Englobe that they're doing awesome work.
Les activités principales pour aujourd'hui, compaction de matériel, 2-inch minus. You'll be pushing / grading some material. Okay, so that's the game plan for today.
So what we're doing right now at the teacher's site is that we're putting in a preload. And a preload is essentially a compacted mass of earth that sits on top of the eventual footprint of this building. And what it does is that with the weight and the compaction, it compacts the natural soils underneath so that eventually those soils will be suitable for the eventual construction of footings, which will lead to, the construction of a building. Someone who comes to work for Englobe in Neskantaga usually does a 3 to 4 week run, and they're always a little sad to leave, excited to go home, but when I call them back in a week or two, they pick up the phone right away, and the first thing they ask is, "So am I coming back?" And if I'm calling you, it's usually because I need you to come back, and they're always excited to come back.
We still have some more remediation on existing places. So now we're just waiting for a green light from the government. If they're going to go ahead and clean up. Well, if it continues working like this, it'll be great partner. With Englobe, if community and Englobe work together.
Well, I hope there is a future for the Englobe-Neskantaga relationship. I'd be more than willing to come back to this place to do whatever they ask of us, especially if it's environmentally related. I think we've built trust, we've built friendship, and I hope they'll have us back.